Going live. Hello, good morning. My name is Natalie, and welcome to the Primary Focus live stream. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for waking up this morning and enjoying your morning with me. I've got my cup of tea going, and maybe you've got your morning beverage, and we can just sit and talk a little bit about education together this morning. A few things before I really dive in. The chat is here, so if you have questions that you want to ask, please drop them in the chat. I would love to answer them live with you. I do have a tip jar going, so if the spirit moves you and you want to buy me a coffee, I will send that in the chat, and I would really appreciate it. But really, I'm just glad you're here. My name's Natalie. I am the founder of Primary Focus. Primary Focus is... I just love my channel. This has been a dream for a long time, and I've been really lucky to move into building this into a business. I was a teacher for 10 years. I taught kindergarten, first grade, and I taught fifth grade. And during that time, I really, really felt like there wasn't enough time to talk with families. And unfortunately, families are one of the most important pieces of the puzzle when it comes to educating a child. Sorry, let me just take a breath. Put the my husband's helping me with my microphone right now. Put up a little?
Yeah.
How's that?
Great.
Okay. Perfect. Well, that's the thing about going live. It's hard to get everything tested, and I plan to keep doing this, so I'll get better and better over time. How's it sound, Mike? Okay. So when I was teaching, I felt like parent outreach was a really important part of the job, but I also felt like I had no time to talk with parents or any of the other amazing guardians that were taking care of my students. It was parent-teacher conference time when I had to rush and talk to everybody in, a very short period of time, and that just felt very rushed and repetitive, but that time was also when the most important information would come out from parents. And then the other times that we talked, it was really if something was going wrong or maybe like a big celebration. But, a lot of the times when things were just in the middle, things were normal. It was like, there's not really time to communicate this, so I can't. And so when I was getting my master's degree, a lot of what I worked on was parent outreach. And when we finished, they said, don't just let these essays sit dormant. Don't just let these things, sit in a file in your computer. Do something with it, either improve your teaching practice or whatever it is. And at the time, we were in the depths of the pandemic, and I said, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I really don't mind being in front of camera. I really like talking. And so I started just kind of turning a lot of the things that I had studied or been pondering about when I was in grad school into these videos. And that's how Primary Focus was born. And it's really been a passion project that I'm now turning into my business, and it feels great. So thank you for being with me today. I am answering some questions that I collected from my newsletter subscribers. They had first priority to get their questions answered. I also collected these stories on my these questions on my Instagram stories and from my YouTube community posts. So I've got some picked out today that I would love to answer that I've, had a chance to take some notes and think through. But this is a live session, so if you've got questions that you would like to ask me live, I'd love to hear it. Drop them in the chat box. I've got that going. And then if the spirit moves you as well, I have my link to buy me a coffee if you're interested. And that way, if you want to say thank you for the work that I'm doing or leave me, I guess, a tip, essentially, that would be very nice. So I'll put that in the chat box. Let's see, this might be the second time I'm putting it in the chat box. Sometimes it's hard to see what actually went through. Okay. So I want to go off of what I was saying in my introduction and dive a little bit more into parent-teacher conferences. October, September, this kind of early time of year where you're rounding out that first quarter, that first semester of school, is the time of year where we're seeing most schools having parent-teacher conferences. I had a love-hate relationship with the conference. They're too fast, you have too many, and you're still teaching full-time through it. A lot of times conferences are after school, they're on your own time. In the state of North Carolina, if I had a conference after school, I was actually doing it for free. I was not getting paid for that time. They did give us one work day where you could theoretically get all your conferences done, but basically, I mean, you're asking 25 families to meet with you in like a, 6-hour period of the day. So you ended up doing it before and after school. So that was really frustrating. But the reason why I actually loved conferences was it was personal time, one-on-one with families. You got to know the family better and you got to give personalized support. I feel like I had some really good conversations with parents over the years and just kind of got the feeling, the flavor. And then, also it's just fascinating to see genetics, to sit there and like be taking in somebody's face and realize how much their child looks like them or the mannerisms are the same is just always kind of a trip. So I really did like that. But I've made a product for you called the Parent Teacher Conference Checklist. One of my most popular videos ever is top 5 questions to ask at a parent teacher conference. And this this year after year, in particular this time of year, the video trends again. And it's a very simple video. It's just like when you go to a conference, here's what it is, and here's 5 things that you should get out of it. I made a checklist for you. I made a checklist for you so that you can print this out and take notes during your conference and listen for these answers. I've just gone ahead and put that in the chat box. This is a free download to you. And when you download it, it's a 1-pager, it's easy, and you essentially look at the checklist, you listen to hear you get the answer to the 5 questions. And then at the end of the conference, if you haven't checked off everything from the list, you go ahead and ask the remaining question and just make sure that you get the full view of your child. I made this from my point of view. These are questions that teachers typically do answer at a conference. So hopefully the teacher who's leading it will answer all of them for you. But this will just help you feel like you actually got what you needed out of the conference and it stayed on track with what you needed to talk about. I feel like sometimes if there was a specific issue going on in a conference, it would get taken over. And other things might be missed. So this will just help you stay on track. I hope you download it. I made it with you in mind. Let me take a sip here. All right, so let's hop into question number 1. And this is from a newsletter subscriber. Very interesting question. And my newsletter subscribers do get the first priority with answering questions. So if you want to sign up, you can go to newsletter.primaryfocus.tv and sign up there. Newsletter.primaryfocus.tv. I've just put that in the chat box. Here's question number 1. Is it even worth it to try and volunteer? My district now makes it really hard for parents to even enter the building, let alone visit classrooms. Do teachers still want volunteers in your classroom? Is it worth it for me to get a background check? And what kinds of things would I even volunteer for? When this question came to me, it hit me hard because when I taught kindergarten, that is the year where parents really want to volunteer. You're coming hot off of preschool, or if your child didn't go to preschool, it feels like that first chance to really be involved and see what's going on. I think especially in the younger grades, parents are a lot more hands-on. But you're totally right. I think 2 things happened. We've seen some really horrific things happen in schools, and security has gotten tight in the schools in the United States. And we also, during the pandemic, I mean, it was hands off. You can't come in. We already have too many people crowded into this building. And so coming off of those events, I've seen schools have been a lot more sheepish and taking a step back with allowing volunteers to come. That said, schools need volunteers. Schools so desperately need volunteers because they are run by volunteers. I mean, have you ever seen how bad a school website looks? It's because it is the lowest priority of the school. There's someone who is voluntold to do this, bulletin boards don't get changed without parent volunteers. That's something, a lot of the beautification things at school and the things that make a school really nice, those are volunteer jobs. So what I would do is say, yes, you should be trying to volunteer in the school. And sign up, even if you know it's not going to be this weekend. A lot of schools are asking for a background check. They are making a file on you. And so go ahead and just get that done, because, getting that background check, sometimes it can take a couple weeks for everything to come through. If there's some sort of a mistake, you just want to have it done. And then I know in the district that I worked in, once you were registered as a volunteer, you basically just hit a button to re-volunteer every year, and you were in the system. You didn't have to jump through the hoops again. So hopefully your school district has something like that. And then I would just start watching and listening. So get on any newsletters, or, make sure you read those communications home, because if there's a PTA or somebody organizing things at the school, they are probably asking for volunteers all the time. These might not be, hey, I'm going to go into the class and read a book to the kids, but you'll get to be in the school and feeling the rhythm of the school and being involved, and maybe you can sneak in and wave at your kiddo and say hi. And then the other thing that I would do is reach out to the teacher and let them know I'm a volunteer. I would love to help. I'm not afraid of dirty work. I'm not afraid of the copy machine. If maybe if you have a skill set, you could offer to come and do that, or be a Friday reader. Just look for these opportunities. They will come up. It's really teacher preference how much they want to parent in the classroom. I love to parent volunteer because I learned after years of being stressed out, you could delegate simple tasks to parent volunteers. So I actually had a kind of rotating parent volunteer, and I had this table, and I would start to leave all this, menial tasks that needed to be done. And I'd have a Friday volunteer come in, and they would just get it done. And then if they didn't come in, I would see at the end of the day, Friday, okay, I will get these things done. Just not low priority, but things that didn't have to be done right away, I would leave for them. A lot of people love to have a parent come in and just read with the kids, just kind of float around. It can feel awkward to be a volunteer sometimes because the teacher might plan something, or the teacher might forget that you were coming just because their minds are so filled. But if you're the kind of person that can kind of go with the flow, you don't mind sitting and waiting for directions for a little bit because they might be teaching when you come in, I would say volunteer, do it. The worst thing that can happen is the school says that they aren't doing volunteers right now, or the teacher doesn't want volunteers. It's not about you. It's just about, busy people that haven't figured out how to delegate yet. And I think we could all learn about delegation. All right, before I get into my next question, hello, if you're watching right now, you can of course say hi, put any questions you have in the chat box. And I'd love for you to sign up for my weekly newsletter. Every week I share tips on how to support kids in schools, support your child in school, and in any important news you need to know about education. So I love to do kind of a mix. One of the most recent ones I did was 5 holidays to celebrate in autumn that aren't Halloween and Thanksgiving. I've also talked about some of the things that I wish parents knew about state testing so that they could support their child. And then occasionally, if there's something going on with education in the news, I will break this down and help you understand as a parent, what are the things that you need to worry about? Is this something you need to worry about? And just give you that perspective that I understand, because as a teacher, I am very in touch with education news and how this translates to you at home with your kids. All right, question number 2. This one came from an Instagram follower, and it says, can I ask for my child to be moved away from another student in class? Yep, you can. But before you do, I would just check in on how many things you've been asking for lately. And that's because it is a puzzle making a seating arrangement. So if you have been in high communication with the teacher, asking a lot of things, maybe right now isn't the chance to come in hot, asking for them to spend 30 minutes after school moving a desk and figuring out, you move one child and it really is an avalanche of moving a lot of kids. It's very difficult to make a seating arrangement because you're trying to think about all of these personalities, and are there children that have to be up front, or things like that. So it is a puzzle, but I don't think it's unreasonable to ask. What I would do though is look at the bigger picture, because even if you move your child, if you're trying to get them away from another student, they're still going to be in the same class. And I know in kindergarten, they weren't really sitting in their assigned seats that often because they were on the rug. Then they were in stations. Then they go to, special area classes and they're sitting with that child. So just moving them may not be the solution. So I would ask you instead, have you reached out to this teacher and explained the issue that's at hand here? Because simply moving them isn't always going to fix all your problems. But if you feel like it would solve some problems, why not? All right, next one. This is another Instagram submission. What's the most important thing to look for when choosing a school? I think this is going to be a little different than what other people say, but honestly, I think the most important thing to look for is the distance from your home and the bell schedule of the school. A lot of people find a dream school and they get so excited to send their child to it, and then they find out that it's a 30-minute drive each way and that the bell schedule does not match with your working schedules. And then you're in this stressful situation every day because it's such an inconvenience to get the child to school. I experienced this firsthand because I worked at a magnet school that had a lottery admission. So a neighborhood school, all the kids, live within a small radius of the school. But at the magnet school, kids were getting bussed in from all over town. Kids were in carpools, some of them driving like 30, 40 minutes each way, plus waiting in the carpool line, which is a nightmare. If you don't know about carpool lines yet, just get your patience going. So I think those objective things will help you cross some things off your list immediately, because if you can't visualize what adding that commute is going to be like, then it's going to be hard. And one more thing too, your child will get sick and need to get picked up early. Your child will forget their project and you will have to drive back to school and drop it off. And when those things happen, even if it only happens once or twice in a year, is it going to ruin your entire day, or is it something feasible that this is an inconvenience, but we can make it work? So just think big picture about those things. Okay. Question number 4, this came from a YouTube subscriber, and it says, "Happy birthday. Any suggestions on what to do for a teacher's birthday?" And I thought this was very nice. It was my birthday on Tuesday, and yeah, so what to do on a teacher's birthday? I think it's very sweet of you that you would want to celebrate. I broke down my answers into things that are free and just will cost you maybe a little bit of time, and things that cost money. So for the free things, I would say a card or a kind note. I loved really nice notes from families, and this could be an email too. You could even, if it's an email, CC the principal on this and just let them know, like, hey, we love this teacher and she's done these amazing things. If you can get specific when you write that card and just like really hone in on why you love them, teachers will keep cards like that. I used to have a bunch hung up around my desk. Another thing you could do, and this is, situational, but you could ask a teacher assistant to coordinate all the kids bringing a card in, or if you know that there's a parent volunteer or something, see if you can or if you have like an email list for everybody in the class, just send home a thing that says like, hey, can you fold a piece of paper in half and make a card for the teacher? And then the last thing that I saw sometimes was people would decorate the door. If you're not familiar with door decorating, a lot of teachers, their classroom door, they'll put butcher paper, which is like that big roll of paper that you cover a bulletin board with. You might cover it up and have the kids do a cute craft, or, die cut some letters and have it say happy birthday. If you have not heard about like door decorating, I would just hop on Pinterest and look up some fun things. There's very cute themes you can do. This will take you time and effort. It's a lot of work to put it up, but if you're the crafty type, you can have a lot of fun decorating the teacher's door for their birthday. And what you could even do is like, if you wanted to, you could tell them that you're going to do this, or you could surprise them and then maybe get in contact with somebody in the front office or another teacher and say like, hey, when they're at recess, can you make sure they stay out 5 extra minutes and I'm going to decorate their door. Okay, so into things that cost money. You could ask for their lunch order and then bring them a hot lunch. maybe like a week or two out, say, hey, I'm going to bring you lunch on your birthday, or is there a day of the week? You don't want to surprise them with this because, I mean, you know how it is with food. Everybody's picky. Everybody's got dietary restrictions. But they might also take their birthday off, or maybe something else is happening. So this is something I wouldn't surprise them with, but a lunch order is so sweet. Lunch is bleak when you are a teacher. Like, it is just really nice to have fresh food. Teachers can't go off campus and go like get a sandwich. That's just not something that they do. A gift card to not Target, but like a place where they can be pampered or they can go out to eat, something nice, something that says like, hey, this is for you. And I think that's a really nice like birthday gift. Something that I try to distinguish between, I have a lot of gift videos that I love. Let me see if I can get up the playlist. I like making teacher gift videos. They're just kind of like a fun side thing to do. Let's see if my channel doesn't start making noises here. Playlists. Okay, I'll put this in the chat. My teacher gift guides are really fun to make because, I don't know, I've just totally lost my train of thought. It's early, you guys. I don't know what I'm saying. Can she multitask? Here's my gift guide playlist. Getting gifts for teachers is really nice, and I try to distinguish between what things will end up being a donation to the classroom and what things will end up being an actual gift for the teacher. And there's a difference here. I think the Target gift card, the Walmart gift card, the Amazon gift card, these things are really nice and they're needed, but the teacher will end up being at a crossroads because teachers spend a lot of their money on their own classrooms. And so they often will ultimately hoard the gift card, keep the gift card, and use it towards their classroom. When I did this, often I justified it. I was like, I already spent, I already spent money on me, and like now this will keep me from spending my own money on this stuff. Like, so it was a gift. But, if you really want to give a personal gift, I think go with something where they're going to be forced to use it on themselves. Okay. So my next question, this is one that I'm closing out. This will be the last one. Also came from a newsletter subscriber, and it says, my kindergartner is crying before school. How can I get her to go into class? This is something that I'm really familiar with. And it is hard for these babies to get in there. So the first thing I would say is tell the teacher. I'm sure the teacher knows on some level if a sobbing child is showing up every day, but get in communication with them. And you guys can work on a plan together, because this teacher may have a very specific strategy that they are already using or that they've used in the past to help your child. Be patient. This can take a little while. And once they're used to it and they are not crying anymore, the crying may reoccur on Monday mornings and after long holidays. So I always saw after winter break, the kids would have this big regression, and a lot of them would be crying the first couple days back because they go home and they're, babies again, and they don't have any responsibility, and school is hard. It's tiring. Even if you're in the best situation, it's the first times that they're really being asked to control themselves for really long periods of time. So just be patient with it. It will take a while. Do not walk them to class. This will make it harder. I wouldn't even enter the school building with them. I know a lot of schools won't let you into the building anymore, but don't walk them to class. And then what I would do is make a routine with them. And talk to them about it before it's going to school time. Don't talk about it in the morning, maybe in the afternoon or on the weekend, a time when they are safe and secure with where they are. And I would tell them, this is what the routine's going to be. We're going to walk up, or we're going to drive up to the carpool line, whatever your stopping point is. We're going to go to the bus stop. We're going to hug 3 times, and then we're going to go. And then stay consistent with it. Let them go, let them walk away. 3 big hugs. Maybe it's a countdown on the last hug, 10, 9, 8. And then you tell them, if you look back, I will blow you a kiss, but you don't have to look back. And just kind of let them know that, because sometimes children will feel some guilt, like, oh, in the movies they always look back, and let them know that's their choice if they look back. I mean, if they're looking forward and they're going into the building, that's perfect. And then I think controlling yourself through this too. You can be sweet and caring and loving, but you need to stay calm and you need to be affirming them, but try your best not to break down, which I know is so hard. But just try to be like that confident person that's like, I know you're going to have a good day and I'll be here for you when you get home. I'm going to have a good day. Something that I think I saw a lot with my kindergartners is they were actually worried about their parents, and it was so sweet. They'd be like, what's she doing all day without me? Like, oh, like I know my dad's like taking care of my little sister today and she's going to be crying and I like to be helping. And, you know, they're part of your family. They want to be there to help you. They're worried about you. So, you know, if you're hearing sentiment like that, like, you know, kind of let them know, like, hey, you know what, like, I'm really looking forward to my day too. Like, these are some of the things that I'm going to be doing and I'm going to be A-okay. Like, I was thinking, you know, maybe just talk about how this is good for you too, and like how it's normal for people to be alone sometimes or to separate. Families aren't together 24/7, which is kind of what their impression was up until this point, right? Because now they're only just going to school. And then the one thing I would say is just really limit stuffed animals. A lot of families will try to send their child in with a stuffed animal or some sort of a, you know, comforting object. I understand the sentiment and where it comes from, but it is really hard on teachers if you're sending in stuffed animals. They're not really appropriate to have at school. So if you can figure out something else to let them let go, or a lot of teachers, like I have often had to like email parents and I'd be like, okay, Friday's the last day the stuffed animal's coming in, or, you know, the stuffed animal staying zipped in the backpack, just because it's really hard when you have so many kids. They would all love to have a stuffed animal at school that they're hugging all day. Okay, but good luck with that. That's very tough, you know, because it comes from a place of love, and I love to hear about a loyal kid. Well, I want to say thank you for watching with me this morning. Just a couple of things. If you heard something that resonated with you, I'd love it if you bought me a coffee. So you can do that. If you have a specific issue, I do work one-on-one with parents. You can email me hello@primaryfocus.tv or DM me on Instagram. But I do one-on-one calls with parents. I will look over test scores with you. If you are wondering something about your child, maybe you are worried that they, you know, have a special need. Maybe you think they might be gifted, but you're not sure what the signs are like. You want a second opinion, or you want a tutoring plan made. These are all things that I would work one-on-one with families on. And download my parent-teacher conference checklist. I hope that will help you with your upcoming conference. And my one last ask of you is, I am so close to monetizing on YouTube. YouTube watches your watch hours. This is how many collective hours people have watched things. And I'm really close to that because let me start again. They watch how many hours of videos have been watched on YouTube, and then you can share ad revenue of the ads that are run on your videos with YouTube. And that would be really nice to start making money off of my videos. It would be a really big milestone for me. So if you can watch a video or two of mine today, a long form video, not the shorts, that would really help me get those hours to add up. But thank you for hanging out with me. This was a really nice way to start the day. I will be live streaming again. I have not gotten my November schedule together yet. If I don't live stream in November, because it's a really fast month, I will certainly be back in December, but I'll keep you posted on that. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.